welcome back to As They Grow Up. This is Samantha, and today we're going to be talking about our week 24 homeschool update, so stay tuned. Welcome back, guys. I wish I could say happy Monday, but honestly, this is Wednesday. I am so far behind as far as doing videos for you guys. So, for starters, I just want to say that if you watched our last week's homeschool update, you knew that we had a terrible week. It wasn't just one day or 2 days. It was an absolutely dreadful week. One that I thought would never end. But I'm happy to report that last week went well. Everyone finished their work. Everyone did their work. We managed to get some fun times in. So Friday, fun day, was fun. And we were able to do some things. So what were we doing last week? Well, Davis is trucking right along in his math, and he has got another week and a half, 2 weeks, we'll say 2 weeks, of his teaching textbooks with 4th grade, and then we're going to go into 5th grade. And I know I've talked with you guys a couple of times about trying to figure out what to do with him math-wise, and about how he does better if I'm sitting down one-on-one with him. And I know this, and I'm still trying to work out the kinks as far as how I'm going to be able to schedule my time with both of them throughout the day to do that one-on-one time. And so I'm still working on that. I have ideas. As soon as I figure it out, I'll share it with you guys as far as our schedule goes, because we're going to have a schedule. Because today, even though Davis was doing his teaching textbooks, for his lesson today lasted an hour and a half. So during this time, we were already into Luke's math, and to try to teach them both math at the same time, Davis was needing help. Luke was, I was trying to get Luke, on the right path, and so it was pretty crazy. So I've got to figure that out. However, I did decide on a math. I know I've been tossing stuff around and trying to figure out what to do with him. Did I want to continue with teaching textbooks? Because just because I like it doesn't mean that it's good for him. And I do love the program myself, because I'm not a math whiz. Now, my oldest, who's 24, she is a math whiz, but sadly she has moved 4 hours away because of her husband's job. So I can't just call her up. Of course, there is the wonderful thing of being able to Facebook, Messenger, or, talk, whatever it's called, on my phone. But so I have that if I need it. So is what I decided to do as far as our math was to do the Abeka 5th grade. And ta-da! It arrived. I think we're going to like it. I looked through it, and I'll just flip through and let you guys see it. And I will do a review on this once we actually use it and get to using it. Stay tuned, because I'm also going to be doing a review on what we think of Luke's Abeka 2nd grade math. I don't really like to do reviews until we have used it for some time, and we have been using Luke since January 2nd, 3rd, somewhere through there. And so when we get a little further in, I'll be sure to update you guys on that. However, this is the 5th grade, so this is what Davis is going to be starting soon. And I love that it's brightly colored, so that is great. And lucky me, what we're going to be learning in 5th grade, I can still do. So that starts losing me with algebra. I'll be honest. Algebra was hard for me in school. So I might have to call in some backup, Keanu, when we get up to that high. But for right now, this is going to be his math book. Science and everything is going great. I mean, the kid is still loving his Well-Trained Mind 4th grade language arts. And as I had mentioned before, it ends in the 4th grade, so if anybody has any recommendations on something that would be similar, please let me know. I know it's very hands-on and it's very involved, but that's okay, because we have to do that anyway, so it's no big deal, and he loves it. And that is his, if you were to ask him his favorite subject right now, it would be language arts, followed by his science. So science, we have been switching from the birds. We still are switching from we did the birds, the owls. Now we are doing the insects. Last week were the bees, and I cannot remember what we've done so far this week. My mind just went. But we're still loving it. It's going great. So all in all, good week. He got his work done, all of his work done. There was no telling fibs and not getting his work done, so that's good. Luke is trucking right along. with his. He is still loving his math, and in his history we did he's still in the Abeka history, and so with his history we were talking about different places. We talked about, and I've got my little notes here because I want to be able to tell you guys, we did the Grand Canyon, and it's what we do when we do like the Grand Canyon and things like that. I will pull up YouTube videos so he's able to see this stuff. So we talked about the Rocky Mountains, we talked about the Grand Canyon, Yellowstone National Park. He was very intrigued by this. We actually covered it for 2 days. And we were on limited time last week, so we have done a geyser for him in the past. For him and Davis both, actually. He kept on and on with the Mentos and the sodas, so we did the geysers. We explained how that worked. But that has been a few months ago. And I'll put in a clip for you guys.
There you go, Luke. You ready? There you go.
But as you can see, it worked, and he was very excited about it. However, fast forward to now. We are going to Friday. We did not have time. Friday is our fun day, and Friday was the day that I was wanting to do the geysers, but we simply just didn't have time. So anyway, this coming week we've got some fun things going up. We're going to be doing the geysers and the different experiments. Davis has some cooking and history that's going to be coming up. So no, geography. Geography's got cooking in, and so we're really excited about that. But he was very, like I said, Yellowstone National Park was the win for last week. So we've been talking about that. And I'll be sure to link down below, and also in the corresponding blog post, I'm going to put some links to some of the things that we actually watched and resources that we pulled to go along with our lessons, because we did pull some books from the library, and I can't show you guys because I've already returned them. So, but we did pull extra resources because, like I said, he really loved learning about the Yellowstone National Park, and now he is currently planning us a trip out west, which would be great. So that's one of our plans anyway, to head out that way soon. So, but that was what he did. And then as far as reading, his science, we are still using this Christian Library Nature Reader, and we have been using this since January. I mean, it's not really long. I mean, right now we are about halfway, so we're about halfway through. And so last week he was learning about the beavers and the squirrels, and we have a beaver dam down below the house. It had got washed out when we had some major flooding in the spring, but they have rebuilt. And so we took him down there and let him inspect the beaver dam, and I'll show you guys a clip from that.
Okay, that's what we were going for.
Yeah? And if there's any crabs, so we can have a crab dinner.
Seaweed.
Maybe some crawfish.
Yeah, I found seaweed.
No, I don't think we have seaweed
And
here.
as you can see, they're having tons of fun. You can see how the dam is how they built their dam. They brought back some little beaver sticks and just really enjoyed the outing. Luke was convinced he was fishing for crab. We do not have crabs here, not that he would fish for. I asked him, did he mean crawfish? Crawdaddies, he says no, he was fishing for crabs. So anyway, did not know that crabs lived in the mountains, but in his mind it does, and that's okay. We can pretend, because you can't catch them with a stick anyway. But we just had tons of fun there. So if you ever run across one of these books, I encourage you to pick them up. We are loving it. Like I said, the inside is not colorful pictures, but we always add to the lessons. And we have the first book and the fourth book, and Davis is doing his, and they absolutely are loving these books. It's been such a great break into our astronomy. I know you're thinking, what? We were doing apology astronomy and decided to take a break, and this was what our break was, and we are loving it. So do check that out if you ever get a chance. But what are we reading? Well, Davis is all over the place. He is checking out tons of books from the library, and he does really like to read. And yes, I'm a bad mom. I have not ordered him the book 11 yet of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I'm going to do that today. So he was reading Dragon Breath, and I would pull it, but it's not in here. The Dragon Breath I've got in another bookshelf, because you guys can see all the books here behind me. but he's still reading that. And then he checked out 2 from the library yesterday, and 1 he's already finished. And I cannot remember the name of that, and I forgot to bring it in here for you guys. And so he is just running through them. So that's basically with him. We do a read aloud, and we have been reading Tom Sawyer as a read aloud. And as I mentioned last week, I was hoping he would start to really love it once he got used to the way the writing style, and he's just not loving it. So I think I'm going to take it aside. I don't think he's ready for that. So I'm going to start a new book this week for him as far as the read aloud goes. Maybe going back to we finished Little House in the Big Woods, so maybe go into the next book of that, because, or try Farmer Boy again. We've done Farmer Boy twice, attempted it, haven't been able to finish it. I lose them in it, so I might try that again as well. Luke is currently reading The Sword and the Tree. This is our read aloud. We're almost done. We should be done. We'll probably be done by this afternoon or at most tomorrow, because we usually read 2 or 3 chapters. It's up to him, and he loves this book. This was part of our 3rd grade Stonelight curriculum, and this was Davis's as far as for him to read alone. And it's just a really cute book, so we really like that. So we are doing that, The Sword and the Tree. And then I was at the library, and this is a library book, but I ran across several of these books, and Luke, as with any kid, you know, they're on so many different levels as far as learning goes. And Luke, I would, you know, he might be on 2nd grade math, and he might be on this or that, but his reading level, he is definitely, without a doubt, beginning 1st grade, which is fine. And he's getting better and better. Well, he surprised me. Yesterday, we had checked this book out, and he says, I'm going to read this book. I'm going to read it myself. And I was like, how about you let me read it to you? And so he looks, and he's like, oh, wow, this has chapters. It's like a big kid book. And so he decided he was going to read the chapters. And you can see this. But what I did is he told me this morning that he had read all of chapter 1 and he's getting ready to read chapter 2. Well, I wanted to make sure that he's going to read it to me. He wanted to read it to himself, and I'm thinking, you might not know the words. So I had him go back and read chapter 1 to me. And aren't these cute illustrations? I love these illustrations. And they're big. And for those of you that know, are familiar with us and who watch our channel, Luke doesn't have good eyesight. So with his glasses, he only sees, his glasses prescription is set for him to see 20/60. So he still, texts that have small font, he has a hard time seeing. Like his history book, he can read it to me, but he has to still hold it pretty close so he can see the words. And so I appreciate that this book has the big writing, and he can see it, and I love it. And so this is what they look like. Are these not cute? He read this to me today. So he read me all of chapter 1 and all of chapter 2. So we are doing that. But these are really cute. So if you are ever out and you see these books, and I don't know, it says Bloomsbury, and I don't know if they're level readers or what, but there was quite a few of them in our library. Check them out because they are awesome. So anyway, and that is that. So guys, that is our week 24 update. I am saying again, like I said, it was a good week last week. This week has been a good week. We're getting a little rocky right now. We'll talk about that next week. We are determined to get this. Oh, and another thing. We went out this past weekend to with my mom. The boys, she wanted to take our boys to see the Dixie Stampede. We are hour and a half, 2 hours from Pigeon Forge, and you know, it's a day trip there. However, my mom had got a room and wanted us to stay with her, so we went out Friday and spent Friday night and Saturday night and came back on Sunday. So the boys got to spend time out there all day on Friday. They got to do some activities, and they also were able to see the Dixie Stampede. They loved it. Ryan and I kind of hung back, and we enjoyed our Valentine's. We went out to eat. We never get a date night. The last time we had a date night was May of 2016. It was our anniversary, so we took advantage, did the date night. It was nice to have an adult conversation. But anyway, so they enjoyed the Dixie Stampede. They loved it. And then on the way back home, we go through Cherokee, and several years ago, they reintroduced elk to that area. And we have never been able to see the elk. We have never seen the bears. We have never ran across. I would rather see the bear as I'm going down the road that's in the tree than whenever we're out hiking. I admit I get paranoid sometimes, especially in the spring in the Smoky Mountains if you're hiking because of the bear. However, I probably would be 8 before I would probably freeze and panic. They're beautiful, but I definitely don't want to run across them because I'm the one that always carries the food. And anyway, I'm getting off track. So anyway, what I'm saying, the moral of my story is we were able to see the elk. We were going by, and I was just talking to Ryan. I'm like, I'm wondering if some of the bears have came out of hibernation because we have had such unseasonably warm weather. Very unusual weather for us to be having this warm. Even, it's crazy weather. It's very warm for us. And so I was curious if some of the bears have been coming out of hibernation. And so we're going, and there's these cars are pulled out on the side of the road. Now, I'm not going to get out and look at a bear. I just feel that, that's their area. This is my area. I don't know. I respect them. So anyway, it was elk. And so we decided to pull off the side of the road and let the boys check out the elk. They're right there. And then there's one back in the back. And then there's one over here laying. Look over here. See him right there, Luke? Look straight ahead.
Ooh, I can see him now.
There's a forest ranger there, of course, watching to make sure, directing traffic and making sure that people, we know how people are, we're not going to go out and try to pet the elk. However, they were super excited. They were able to see the elk up close and personal. And so that was just a really neat learning experience. So we've learned more about the elk as well. But that is the moral of my story. I'm done. We were able to see elk. So that was really fun. Probably one of the highlights of the weekend for the boys anyway, because they love nature. So that is it, guys. That is the end of our week 24 homeschool update. And thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to give us a thumbs up. We would love if you would subscribe. Thank you again, and have a wonderful rest of the day.